Zoval first, maybe?
Yes.
All right.
Zoval's past and the Sylvanas encounter.
Hey, that's some new art of the big boy.
That's from Grimoire of the Shadowlands.
Oh, okay. That's pretty
I just
sweet.
cropped off the text. But don't worry, if you don't want to see spoilers for the Sylvanas stuff, it's actually in a separate page in here. So there'll be plenty of warning
cool.
before I show that.
It's not a big spoiler.
It's not. It's just some people might want to know.
Yeah,
so
true.
I'm trying to be nice to people.
So yeah, I guess we'll kick it off with the big thing then.
Yep.
Long ago, each of the Eternal Ones was given a symbol of our Covenant's purpose. Yet Zoval saw the Sigils as keys to forbidden knowledge. Something, Paradise Lost.
Yep.
When we rebuked his heresy. Again, religious overtones are going on here. You know, we've got...
Just a bit.
Zoval is not Lucifer whatsoever.
No, definitely not loads of stuff down here about it either.
So yes, when the other Eternals rebuked his heresy that the Sigils were something to use to claim knowledge, Zoval tried to claim them by force, but of course the Primus, a big strong boy when it comes to the military stuff, so the Primus led the other Eternals to victory.
Massive brain.
And for this humongous dick move, Zoval was exiled forever. Yet even bound to the Maw, he found allies to aid his cause, which of course we know about. And they also, in this, massively double down on how the essence of the Arbiter is remaining there, that it must be protected at all costs. And I think that is, it's pretty obvious that, like, the Arbiter, there is a hole in her chest with a thing in it. Zoval, there is a hole in his chest with no thing in it.
What possibly could have happened
I
there?
wonder if the chest thing could be important in this story. I think the Arbiter is being fueled off the sigil that was originally Zoval's. And that's what's going on. So, who gave him the sigils? The first ones. What a surprise. Almost certainly.
Yeah, it's like we don't know, but who else could it feasibly be?
Yeah. So, and you say here in the notes... so what is this knowledge? We do not know, but there is Garden of Eden, Paradise Lost-esque stuff going on here. Yes. Zoval, he wanted to bite the apple, taste the forbidden knowledge, find out what's up. Was Sylvanas convinced to aid in his quest for knowledge, or was she forced? So this is the really big one then, isn't it?
Yep.
Because Sylvanas is... there's a soul fragment of Sylvanas that Zoval has. And I guess that's a soul fragment... I mean, is that going to be a soul fragment from whenever she tossed herself off Icecrown, or is it going to be from whenever she died and then the bit of her that went into Frostmourne when she was slain, when she was the Ranger General?
So there's two possible ones. And the one I'm thinking, which would be cheaper, but would also be like, I think, the kind of more cheap but a strong emotional punch, I think would be, it's her from when Frostmourne killed her. And that would double down with everyone else having changes when Frostmourne dealt the blow. Because then you would have, Sylvanas as the Forsaken leader is absolutely not coupled. She's the Forsaken leader. Sylvanas is the problem. The soul fragment of Sylvanas that Zoval has is like 100% squeaky clean. Never did anything wrong, or sorry, did nothing wrong, or didn't do anything wrong. But that would be. I think that would be cheap, but it would be strong for like. Her being like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know there was like this dark part of me was like it was always kept in check by me being a good elf lady. Yeah. And then it would be like, right, well, Sylvanas, come on, you're grand then. You can come out and, have a wee, and then, fuck off to the cottage with your sisters and go, that was a bad time, but at least I'm retired now. But then there's the other one, which I think is the Edge of Night one. This is when that would make more sense overall, and that would keep culpability, but it's kind of awkward.
So that's the one that would keep culpability, but still preserve like the Sylvanas that we as players knew.
Yeah,
being that Sylvanas. Whereas if the soul shattering when she first dies, if that's the bit of her soul that completes her, makes her a well-rounded individual. If that is the case, then it does mean that Sylvanas, that we've known for all of the duration of WoW and like most, War 3 and stuff, that it's this like weird bit of her soul missing Sylvanas. Yeah. And I think that would cheapen a bunch. Yeah. Even though I think logically it makes the most sense with the currently established lore.
Except
because of the Frostmourne bit, and that's when Frostmourne was involved, right?
Except for one small thing.
And
I don't remember exactly how this went, but it was when she was originally killed. and revived. She wasn't revived as just an undead with whatever was left. Arthas intentionally went, nah, you're going to suffer, and brought her back. So unless there was a split, I feel like they can use that as the point to say, no, that's not when it was split. That's when her soul was, like, could have been shattered. But I think Arthas put all of her back in her body, or brought all of her out as the Banshee. I think that's probably how they'll actually tell the story, because that's the way to keep everything culpable. That's a way to keep her culpability high, a way to keep her Forsaken form actually Sylvanas, and it's also a way to kind of twist the Frostmourne cuts everybody up in a little bit of a way, where, you know, here's an exception that proves the rule, because otherwise, what did he mean? Was Arthas fully aware of what's part of the soul he was putting back? Because why would he say, no, you're going to suffer, also you're the one that's going to cause me all the problems?
Yeah.
Because he actually did almost die to her in War 3. So I think it's definitely, we've had full Sylvanas for so long, but after Edge of Night, whenever she went there, the jailer went, oh, hello there, how's it going? I'll keep this little bit. Do you wanna do what I tell you, or I will crush this. Almost like that business card Japanese man meme.
Oh yeah.
For Jesus Christ, that's a blast. But yeah, that's what I think actually.
So yeah, there's a lot going on with Sylvanas. Could go in a few different directions. We did have a super there. I like that one. Fun but cringe move. Good part of Sylvanas beats up bad part of Sylvanas, saving the day. Oh man.
I would be screaming at my monitor. I would just be punching my desk like, what are you doing, please?
Yeah, it's just like at the very end of Return of the Jedi. You know, you've got Darth Vader and he's there, and suddenly out of the floor pops a fully formed Hayden Christensen, and then they fight each other. Doubt that'll happen somehow.
That would be class.
Doubt that would happen. But as you say, yeah, is Sylvanas like, is there that sort of an Eve thing going on here?
Yeah.
You know, we've got better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. You know, that's an actual quote from Satan in Paradise Lost, which, you know, then you think about that and Zoval, you know, Zoval, it's like, yeah, do I serve the first ones in heaven, you know, sort of doing what they're, you know, what I'm meant to do? Or, you know, do I go reign in hell? Do I try to do the big thing? And,
yeah, that's...
you know, so you're kind of, there's various different illusions going on there. You know, there's even stuff with Oribos and like what it actually represents. Obviously, it's I think more Jared in our team's wheelhouse, sort of diving into all of this stuff.
Yeah, it's...
but yeah, there's some form of forbidden knowledge anyway. We don't know what it is. And I imagine that forbidden knowledge is some form of dark secret.
Yeah.
Right? That like all that shiny, golden, nice, good stuff from the first ones is in fact, you know, dare I say it, morally grey.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, it's like, are we going to find out that some kind of, the anima has been used for some like Soylent-esque purpose? Where I think we talked about this like before Shadowlands come out, but like, what is the machinery of death's purpose? Why is Sylvanas trying to break it? Is she right? Is there any world in which she's correct? And maybe the establishment of the Shadowlands actually isn't in the long-term benefit of everything, which is what you could do for like him to be a better version of the like Satan character, where in Paradise Lost he is an evil bastard. Like he is, he's an absolute fuck. But you're kind of introduced as he's like he's doing right, or he's justified. And no, he's actually a bell end who rebelled against God purely out of like vanity. But the whole thing being, they can set it up where the first ones are not all good and happy, and then Zoval is justified, or they can just kind of make him into more literally Satan, where he's just going, no, I don't like being kept in the dark, which is still kind of okay, but there's just, I guess I don't know which way they'll go, but I'm very interested in seeing. But see, that's the thing, I'm actually less interested in Zoval as far as this story comparison goes, and I'm almost more interested in Eve being forced, or Sylvanas being the Eve, forced or otherwise. But,
so there, you know, it's really bizarre because Blizzard told us that Sylvanas was not working for the jailer, that it was truly a situation of them being allies. They tried to make that super clear. And then we look in game, I just don't buy that whatsoever, especially now that via Folk and Fairy Tales, we are fairly sure that, Zoval has got like a fragment of Sylvanas' soul.
Yeah.
You know, just dangling that above her, right? And like we know there's this bit of Sylvanas that really wants to reconnect with her sisters, especially Verisa. So there's more to Sylvanas, right? There is this like human, but you know, there's this person that I think is larger than just the cackling villain that we end up seeing. And there's clearly some form of like abusive relationship going on with her and Zoval, which is kind of going against how Blizzard initially sold that to us. But it very much does seem like Sylvanas is being coerced. Like they've showed her being unhappy in cinematics.
Yep.
So she's obviously not thrilled, even though, of course, she does end up going the distance in this big boss fight, pending whatever that final cutscene actually shows us.
Yeah.
It does actually bring us on, though, to like force wasn't the only option. This final point that you've got in our document here, which is kind of interesting because it makes me even think of Sylvanas, right? So it's this thing where Zoval tried to reason with the other Eternals as to why these sigils should be used differently, and they were all just like, well, no, you know, Daddy says they're for this. You're a naughty boy. You're going to the maw. Bye bye. So he tried. You know, he has some form of logic.
Yeah.
Now that's obviously an argument that he was able to sort of sell Sylvanas on, right? Because Sylvanas
Seemingly, yes.
seemed to have some sort of logical through line as to why this entire setup of the cosmos is unfair.
Yeah,
now the jailer probably thinks that. And I think he definitely thinks it after having a friggin' eternity being spent in jail.
Yeah, I think if anyone thinks it's a prison, it's probably the man who's in the prison.
Yes. So that just means that there is some broader meaning or explanation or, you know, hashtag morally grey. There is something. We just don't know it yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if patch... Okay, I really think patch 9.1 should give us definite things. In fact, I think that's like a larger topic, but it's that thing where, you know, Zoval could be a really interesting villain because it seems like he has this interesting past. He's got all these motivations, but so far in game, he has just been monotone, unpleased nipple man.
Yeah.
That's all he's been in game. And it's because obviously Blizzard want to do some sort of twist. But I think it's like, if we're going to be able to appreciate like future patches, we need to know like almost everything to actually understand his character and his motivations, because that's basically the problem. We do not understand the motivations of the primary antagonist yet, and we're about to move into what I think will be halfway through the expansion. Usually you want to set up your motivations a little bit earlier.
Yes.
So they really need to do that. I think 9.1 needs to do that. Yeah. It does make me, or get me hopeful that there will be some cool lore reveals, stuff like that going on like throughout the raid, and as we get to the end, get the cinematic.
I sure hope so, but I have one counterpoint that is technically very unfair to Blizzard, but also indicative of kind of what they've been doing for a while. There is something coming out that'll be during the 9.1 cycle, if we're correct.
Oh.
That will, in fact, have the potential to reveal everything the jailer has been doing and thinking, and a lot of his side of things. And that is World of Warcraft Sylvanas. Look.
Oh, are we seriously going to only get the primary motivations of this character in a friggin' novel?
I don't think so, but
okay.
I wouldn't be... All of the flavor of it, all of the things that led up to that motivation, I think we'll get sound bites from him as to what he's doing, or the Eternal Ones at the end of after I've killed him going, it was so sad that we lost our brother, but that's what he gets for wanting to shatter the shackles that's ultimately dooming the world, or whatever the fuck it is. And then we'll be like, could we have known that before we killed him, or before we opposed him, please? But yeah, it'll just be in Sylvanas.
I feel like the actual core motivations will be in game.
Oh, they have to.
But I think the proper, like, robust explanation and like what you really need to get them and feel them and understand them, that'll probably be in Sylvanas.
I mean, that's the only place. So, what content in 9.1 that we have seen can potentially do that? Let us experience everything.
End of the raid.
End of the raid.
And Korthia, I guess, any of the secrets we find there.
End of the raid, secrets in Korthia. That's all fine. but it'll be in text on secrets. It'll be in books that we find in game that we right click. It'll be in some dialogue about the old stuff. Largely hinted, I would imagine.
So for most players, our videos, Nobble's videos, Pyro's videos, and Wowhead posts.
And then those who decide to read Sylvanas,
Yeah.
because they read the books and stuff, the supplemental material, but because gameplay takes precedent, they just skip quest text and stuff like that.
When is WoW Sylvanas coming out?
November, I believe.
November. Yeah. Gotcha.
So that'll defeat Endwalker. But fuck's sake.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that's what I'm actually afraid of. I'm really, really afraid of that. Just going, right, well, this is where we can fit it all. We've got it all written down. Well, it'll take Christy a couple of weeks to translate everything they've written down in the narrative design into like a chapter on Zoval in the book. And there you go. We get all of his dialogue through her, and we'll get to experience from reading it. Like, oh yeah, okay, that's why she was on his side for like the real deep reasons.
Mm.
But just because I'm thinking, I can't see any way in content for players to get that experience and understand Zoval outside of a load of dialogue that we haven't seen, because we've seen all the quests and stuff, or most of the content so far.
It's that thing where just think about expansion villains, right?
Yeah.
Like in the Burning Crusade, Illidan had been established, so we sort of knew him, even though he was completely misused in TBC. But Arthas in Wrath, established villain, we knew about him.
Actually, I'm going to stop you because Illidan is actually possibly the worst example of it all, because we learned Illidan in TBC. We learned his motivations in a book that came out before Legion.
Okay, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. It's almost as if they didn't really know what they were doing during TBC. Yeah. And I'm fairly sure Metzen acknowledged that. I remember him saying that he wasn't happy. He wanted a way to bring bring Illidan back, and he did. But so right. We kind of knew Illidan going in, though. We knew his motivations. We knew his shtick. The old horny boy who just can't accept reality.
Most of Twitter, hello.
Yeah. Wrath of the Lich King. Yeah. Kind of know about the Lich King. Cataclysm. Kind of know about Deathwing. Mists of Pandaria. Well, actually, Garrosh we really knew quite well.
Yep.
We spent a lot of time with Garrosh. You're then into Warlords of Draenor, where that is kind of all new, but also stuff we sort of knew.
Garrosh and the Legion, we knew them.
Yeah, and then the next expansion, Legion. Well, we all knew about the Legion. We kind of knew, we knew about there was Archimonde and kill Jaden and Sargeras, and Illidan was coming back. We knew about him. So my point is, we kind of knew people's motivations.
Yeah.
Battle for Azeroth. Well, we all knew the motivations there because we knew about Old God stuff. We knew what they were up to, and we knew faction war. Right, we can understand that. It's all involving characters we've known for years. Shadowlands. Entirely new primary villain, entirely new setting, stuff that basically look, the hints are there. Yeah. We actually have a full video that's called The Hints That We Missed. It'll be out maybe in about 2 weeks. But the hints were there. But to most people, Shadowlands was completely new. They didn't understand where it came from, how it fit into the lore. They didn't know who this, as people seem to like me saying Nipple Man. Or somebody said Nepal.
Yeah,
Zoval, Nepal. Let's just call him Nepal. That's too close to Nepal, an actual place on Earth. Yeah. But yeah. Yes, the 10,000-year-old virgin. Oh, Illidan.
Oh, man.
So right, so I think with Zoval, we don't know a thing about him. We don't know about the Shadow. And none of that we know.
Yeah, he's a big mystery, which would be cool.
So, yeah, Green says there that the shower knew to us in Mists. Yeah, they were. But, I think a bunch of what was going on in Mists, it's like we were exploring a new world in Azeroth.
Yes.
And we could kind of, you could get it, and then Garrosh evolved to be our big antagonist, and we could sort of follow that plot line.
And the Shah weren't actually villains, per se, because they weren't their own will, they weren't their own people, they weren't their own characters. Yeah, motivations, they were amplifications of everyone else.
Yeah, they were essentially the manifestations of the traumas and the wounds that the Alliance and Horde had picked up thus far. Which is why to the Pandarans, they were just like, whoa, you guys have got serious issues.
Yep.
Whenever they looked at us lot, and they were right. So that's the thing with Zoval. Real tough. And I understand Blizzard wanting to keep him being mysterious and like have Sylvanas carry the day until they hit the button with Zoval and make him, real big and explain him more. But I guess it's that thing where most people actually haven't really kept up with Sylvanas. And also, there's a reason why they need to publish World of Warcraft Sylvanas the novel.
Yeah.
Because unless you've been reading every single bit of Sylvanas transmedia narrative content, you're going to be a bit confused and led astray, especially because their portrayals of Sylvanas have been kind of anachronistic to what she sometimes technically has been working on. Just being a bit off.
Yeah.
A bit odd. So, yeah, it's tricky setting up the lore here. There's a lot of big ideas, all this Paradise Lost and all that going on.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see how it goes.